Second time capturing with OBS. Gotta love it. So in case this screws up, hi, my name is Dracog174. If you haven't already caught on by now, this is my second time trying to record this because the first time didn't go past 3 minutes. It's funny, it recorded my mouse moving, but it didn't record everything else. So I'm going to try and be more succinct this time because I was watching the first time through and I was boring myself to tears. This is Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth Rising Tide. It's the expansion pack for Beyond Earth, which came out, I believe, in 2014. Yes. So this game is 11 years old at this point. Still my favorite Civ game. That's mainly because of the setting. I absolutely love the futuristic setting of the game. I'm going to be playing with mods because the base game is fun, but it's not what this game could be, you know? And I'm trying to make it better to what it could be. So, Aliens Unlimited XP. This makes it to where... Alright, so in the base game, if you're fighting aliens, your units can only get one promotion from fighting aliens, and then they're capped until they fight, like, until they fight another AI player. This removes that cap. Biofuel plant tweaks. This tweaks one of the buildings in the game so that you can build it with fruit and tubers instead of just algae. It also tweaks how the plant works. I'll try to remember to explain that when I get the biofuel. Immersive armies. This makes the armies look much more interesting. This makes military units look much more interesting in the game. Without this, they only have like 3 units for everything, and that just doesn't look good. I much prefer immersive armies. Later affinity victory. This is something that should have been in the base game, and I will never understand why it wasn't. Basically, what this does is for each affinity. For each kind of affinity, which I will explain what that is later, you have to get to a certain affinity level in order to build the building for victory. And this pushes that later, so that you have to be max level in an affinity in order to build the building. I prefer this because it makes the game go on for longer, and it also means that the specialty units that are in the game actually get used, which they don't usually, so... I highly recommend this one if you want to try it out. Map revealing technology, basically this gets rid of the fog of war. Well, no, it doesn't get rid of the fog of war. It reveals the whole map once you research a certain late game tech, but it doesn't get rid of the fog of war, so you still won't know what's on the tiles, but you will know what the tile is and where cities are. Random colony names, basically, except for your first city that you found, this makes it to where the rest of your cities are named randomly with the names that they have for each city. Configuring the game. Oh man, I hope OBS doesn't screw up with this again. If it does, then it's a problem with me, and I've got to go figure that out. Alright, so these are all the mods in use. Single player, set up a game. I'm going to be playing as Falah. She is not the best person to play with in this game, but I really enjoy playing with her because... I just enjoy the way she looks, if I'm perfectly honest. But she's not the best one in the game. ARC is okay, but not good. The Pan-Asian Cooperative is really good. They're really good. Honestly, this one and Integer, which I will explain when I get in game, are kind of busted. North Sea Alliance is absolutely useless, but then again, I never play with aquatic cities. I mean, I try to avoid making them as much as I can because I don't like the aquatic city mechanic. It's a good mechanic. I just don't like using it. Franco-Iberia can be good if you build in a very specific way, but I'm not going to this time, so yeah. The Slavic Feds are completely useless. They are completely useless. Never pick up the Slavic feds, ever. They are completely and utterly pointless. Chung Su is really good because you start off with one free covert agent. Honestly, the 10 science per agent rank whenever you successfully complete a covert op isn't that good, but it's not that bad either, so you can take it or leave it. But the one free covert agent at the beginning of the game is really good. Polystralia is really good. Polystralia. I guess it would be Paulistralia. Or Polystralia. I'm not sure, but they are really good. They're not busted, not like Integer and the Pan-Asian Cooperation, but they're really good. Trade routes in this game are so good. The Kavithan Protectorate is really good, although they have a weird thing. Funny enough, with the Kavithan Protectorate, usually your city ends up growing faster than you can build improvements for it. So that's a problem if you don't have enough workers, but you can solve that by having more workers. Integer is busted. They are completely overpowered. I have come to learn this in my 1,200 hours of playing the game. Integer is really good because once you fully upgrade this bonus, it's like 75% cheaper to buy things using diplomatic capital. It's ridiculous. I'll try to explain how busted this is when we get into the game, but they are honestly overpowered. Brasilia is useless. They are entirely useless. War score in this game is handled really badly. They are entirely pointless. African Union is a good all-arounder. The problem is early to mid-game, you're not really staying healthy, so their buff really doesn't come in handy until late game. Specialist Citizens producing 1 extra yield, if you remember to micromanage that, is really good. But yeah, I'm picking all Falah. Purely because I just like the way Arish looks. Yeah, it's a stupid reason to pick a nation, but sue me. Okay, so quick version of this. Scientists are kind of useless because by late game you get so much science per turn that this means nothing. And early on, science... the benefits it gives you are not worth picking it over everything else. The same thing for refugees. They just help you build up your city faster, but the way city growth works in this game, you'll basically hit 10 pop growth. You'll basically hit 10 pop in a city, and then the growth will slow to a crawl until you either upgrade your farms or get the bio wells. And, again, I'll explain those as we go in the game. Aristocrats is completely useless. I'm sorry, the amount of energy you can make in this game is so crazy. And the fact that they thought this was okay is ridiculous. This would need to be plus 10 energy in every city to even be worth considering. It is completely pointless. Engineers is the best one in the game. I'm sorry, it just is. Actually, I'm not sorry. It's the best one in the game, bar nothing. There is only one other one that can be considered useful, and that's artists. And that's only if you're playing as Franco-Iberia. But honestly, engineers is just, it's too good. And I'll explain why when we get into the game and I explain how the production works. But this is just too good. Production is king in this game. It is king and country in this game. It is absolutely amazing. Continental Survey reveals coasts on the map. This is only really good if you're playing, if you want to know what the entire map looks like. It's really not good other than that. Retrograde Thrusters is what I'm going to be using. Basically, it widens the area that you can spawn your first city in. You'll see what I mean by that when we get into the game. Tectonic Scanner is completely pointless. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I need to stop saying that. Tectonic Scanner is pointless. Knowing where Titanium is kind of good. Like, if you want to, like, pick where you're putting your city. But other than that, it's completely pointless. Do not waste your time. Fusion Reactor is even more pointless than Tectonic Scanner. This would have to be like 400 or 300 energy at standard speed in order for it to be useful. But as it currently stands, it's 100 energy. Why would you ever use this? It's so little energy that it's just not worth starting with. Lifeform Sensor reveals alien nests on the map. This is good. This is really good. I still prefer Retrograde Thrusters, but Alien life form sensor is really good. Because alien nests spawn on strategic resources. So knowing where the alien nests are in the game means that you know where the strategic resources are in the game, which means that you can plan your cities accordingly. But I'm picking retrograde thrusters. Uh, this is a no-brainer. Machinery, beginning with a worker unit. The ability to improve your tiles straight from the beginning of the game is just too good, right? Hydroponics is useless because you'll grow there eventually. Pioneering is useless because laboratory is useless because pioneering is the tech that you need to build colonists, but you're not going to have explored enough locations to figure out where to put your colonies. So this is completely pointless. Raw materials is pointless. If that was an old Earth relic, it would be so much better. But as it currently stands, health is such a non-issue until mid-game that it really doesn't matter. And beginning with a soldier, soldiers at the beginning of the game can't do anything. They're so weak that they can't do anything. So that's useless. Worker is just way too good. And now we're getting into the advanced setup. This is all my setup. A couple of noticeable things. One, I am playing on normal difficulty because I think the way that this game handles difficulty is stupid. So I'm not going to play on harder difficulties because I don't like playing catch up with the AI. And resources are at abundant. This is because I just hate running out of strategic resources, bruh. I just hate it. I understand that this basically gets rid of the need to expand. But I don't care. Quite frankly, I want to have all the strategic resources I need to build buildings. So abundant it is. I turned off contact victory because if you get really lucky, you can win the game in basically 50 turns on quick if you have contact victory, if you get the right things off of relics and stuff like that, and it doesn't work out well. And no marvels is one of the problems with this game. The marvels in this game suck. They're not good. They're not good at all. So I turn them off because they take up tiles that otherwise I could be using to improve. And there's a thunderstorm. I'm hoping my power doesn't go out. Alright, let's go. Beautiful artwork. I understand that they don't have much of it. This game, unfortunately, it was just not given the love it needed to be good. But I love the artwork that's in the game. I absolutely adore it. I suppose I can talk a little bit about why this game was so panned while it was loading. This game, unfortunately, came out the same state that Civ 5 came out in. Civ 5 came out in a state of polished but unfinished. The game wasn't finished on release. So a lot of people tend to forget that about Civ 5 because Civ 5 was the game that really introduced Civ to a wider audience. But Civ 5 is only so good because of its 3 DLCs, or its expansions. I guess we should call them expansions. But it didn't release... The base game of Civ 5 did not release in a solid state. Okay? Civ Beyond Earth is the same way. Unfortunately, when they released the first and only expansion pack, Rising Tide, it didn't fix enough for people to be okay going forward. So people just kind of fell out of love with it. Alright, well, I guess my retrograde thrusters were kind of pointless. There's Xenomass, Floatstone. This is legitimately looking like a Harmony game, although we will see the more we expand. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm going to spawn on this hill, I think. Yes. Yes, here we go. Alright. So, I'm going to try and explain as many of the mechanics of Civ as I can, because, I know 2 people who are going to be watching this video who love to play Civ with me but don't necessarily know the mechanics. So, I'm going to try and explain as many of the mechanics as I can. Are these plains? Yes. Tundra. That means I'm south. Okay. This is an Explorer. Each unit in the game has a basic 2 movement per turn. Okay? It says that if you hover over it, your unit may move 2 more tiles this turn. I'm going to move him here, and then into the water. The worker. The worker is going to go construct a farm. Why? Well, 2 things. One, about that movement. The movement in this game... Okay, if you go from land to waters, that's called embarking. You use up all of your movement immediately. Okay? That uses up all of your movement immediately. Also, this tile is a hill. If I had a worker right here and I moved him onto the hill, it would take 2 movement. Moving from flat terrain to rough terrain, what they call it, takes 2 movement points to do. Well, technically this would take 3 because it also has a forest on it, but that's for a whole nother point. Let's open up the city. So, explaining this game and how it works is very simple. Your city is what produces what you need, right? It produces things that you need it to produce. Your worker is what builds improvements on the tiles so that when you work the tiles, they're better for your city. What do I mean by working the tile? Right now, this city is working 2 tiles. It automatically works the tile that you founded the city on, and you see right here, this tile is being worked by the 1 population that's in the city. Now, thankfully, I actually agree with what they're saying because it gives me the most food. Food is really important because it's how you grow your city. It's how you grow populations. Excuse me. Each pop takes, I believe, 1 food. It's either 1 or 2. We're going to see once I grow a new pop. We'll learn together. But, as you see over there, progress 0 out of 10 food to grow a new pop. Each turn, I'm producing 2 food. So it's 4 food that is being produced. 2 of it is being used up by a citizen, right? So that's 2 population. So that's 2 food used up by a citizen. So that means that there's 2 left that the city is producing with. 10 divided by 2 is 5. It takes 5 turns to grow a new citizen. I can change where this dude is working, but right now I'm happy with where he is, so he's staying there. Alright. The first thing we're going to produce is an old earth relic. Why? Well, several reasons. A city can only work 3 tiles away from where the center of the city is. But, as you can see, it's only got the first layer around it. This city will acquire new tiles depending on how much culture it produces per turn. It works the same as food, right? It works the same as food. It takes 10 culture to border growth, right? So 10 turns. And I'm only producing 1 culture per turn. So it will take 10 turns to pop for the city to acquire a new tile. And from what it's saying over here, it's most likely to acquire this tile, because that's what the purple outline means. Building an old earth relic gives me +2 culture and +2 capital. Capital we'll talk about later, but culture adds directly to this. So I'll be producing 3 culture per turn, which means that I will get a pop growth, which means that I will get a tile growth faster. This is important because the more tiles you have, the more tiles you can work. The more tiles you can work, the better your city is. So, old earth relic. Now, when producing the old earth relic, you see that it costs 26 production. Production is important because you see right here, my production is how good my city is at building things. I get 3 from terrain, right? So that's from the terrain that's around me. I spawned on a hill, which means that I have 2 production being worked by the city and 1 production being worked by the person. So that's 3 for terrain. 3 for buildings. This is because the headquarters in your capital naturally produces 3 production to get you started. So 3 plus 3 is 6, and then 2 from the colonist type makes it 8. If I didn't pick those colonists at the beginning of the game, I would be slower building. I'd only have 6 per turn. 24 divided by 6. Well, 26 divided by 6 would mean that I would have to have 5 turns to build the Old Earth Relic instead of only 4 because I got 2 from the culture. Yes, I did just have to count out the math. I'm 30. It's been like 12 years since I've done math. Catch me a break, please. So, that's how production works. This is for everything, right? 46 to build a worker. 33 to build an explorer. Gunboats are particularly expensive at 97. Clinics are at 40, so it takes 5 turns. This is all fairly standard. Now, why did I move my explorer there? We will explain that next turn. Same thing with the worker when I can actually get him to build something. Research. Research works in the same way that production does. Top right, you see how much research you are making in total from all your cities. This is directly divided. This goes directly into how much each science costs. So if I hover over chemistry, chemistry costs 77 to research. I'm making 3 per turn, so that's 77 divided by 3 is 26. It takes 26 turns to build up to chemistry. Why am I picking chemistry first? Because it does several things. The first thing it does is allows me to build a submarine. Nobody cares about that right now. We'll worry about that later. Then it builds a laboratory, which allows me to get my science faster. Then it allows me to build a recycler. This is the main reason I am trying to get chemistry. Production in this game is king. So if I have +2 production, that just means I get to build faster. And it reveals petroleum on the map and lets me improve it, but that's not going to come into play until later. Alright, so I've moved everybody. I've researched something. My city is building. Next turn. So, how this game works with its AI players is that you will see where they are, but you will not see who they are. You have to get your explorer over there to see who they are. Now, why did I move my explorer here? Simple. There's a resource pod over here. I call these affectionately, I call these goody huts, because that's what they used to be called back in Civ 5. Funny how much terminology I know for having never played that game. This, basically, when you move a unit over a resource pod, it gives you a random bonus. Okay? This time it gave me energy. One of the weaker ones. But you can get science, energy, you can get a free solar collector. I'll explain that if I get it. You can get culture, you can get a whole bunch of things from resource pods. And this is a quest. Quests are basically the game telling you to do something, and it'll give you a reward for doing that thing. It's a quest. We all know what a quest is. Now, I know you see that the game recommends you build an expedition on this tile. I'm not going to do that, and I'll explain why later. I will explain what expeditions are once we actually get into it. Now, why did I move my worker here? I moved my worker here because I wanted to build a farm. Farms are really important because they add more food onto a tile. If you add more food onto a tile, your city grows faster. Ergo, you can work more tiles, and the cycle just repeats itself. Now, these are all events that you get during the game. Right-click to get rid of them. And because I've moved everything and there's nothing else to do, we can hit next turn. Alright, floatstone, but it's at the edge of the map, so chances are that's not going to matter anything. I have moved my explorer. Next turn. Turns are going to be going by kind of quick early on in the game because there's not much to do. But you'll notice towards the later portions of the game that turns are going to take a lot longer. Now, I could move my explorer down south, but as you see here, this is all ice. And that means that we're down south. So I'm actually going to move him right so that I can try and explore more of the map and see more of what's around me. Now, just like funny enough, real life, you're exploring for a reason. I will explain that reason when I get the ability to build colonists. The name is kind of self-explaining, but still, we're going to be explaining it all the same. Now, I finished my old Earth relic. This means that I'm now making 3 culture per turn, which means that I'll grow to a new tile in only 2 turns. This speeds it up. This also speeds up here, 6 out of 13, in order to get a new virtue. I'll explain virtues when they pop up. So what should I be building right now? Well, the reality of the situation is I need to know what's around me, right? I need to know what is around me so that I know where to put my future cities. It also helps me determine which affinity I'm going down, but I'll talk about that later. So I want another explorer. Next turn. Ah. That's rather close. Okay. So, this is another quest. This is the beginning quest of the game. It's basically telling me, hey, research pioneering so you can expand. We just researched another goodie pod and another goodie hut. Excuse me. I guess I should call them goodie pods, shouldn't I? I just found another goodie pod, and now it gives me 15 research, which sped up my research towards chemistry. Ah. Floatstone. This might be a purity game. I don't like purity, but I can play them, so. Alright. So, it's +2, and they're both working the eggs. Because they're working the eggs, I want to improve the eggs so that I get more out of them. I'm okay with this city working the eggs because it's +2 food, right? It's where I can get the most food I can get right now. Later on, we're going to shift towards the farms, but for now, the eggs are okay. And next turn. Alright, that was a quest that's actually rather important. Cultural Burden. And that's really close to me. Cultural Burden is what we call an affinity quest. Affinities are basically, well, you know what, I'm actually running out of time. Alright, I think we'll save affinities for next episode. Affinities are, the short end of it is, there are 3 types of paths that your civilization can take in this game. Affinities determine those paths. I'll explain which path each affinity is later on. Technically there's 6, but the hybrid affinities suck and nobody should be using them. They are one of the biggest mistakes of this game. And its expansion packs. So, let's see. I'm going to save over this one. This was my past, by the way, which ended up screwing up. So, this is my past save. I'm going to save over it. Yeah. Alright, this has been Dracog174, and thank you for watching. Yeah. Peace out.